China hasn't imported any U.S. soybean for 5 months. In September, the U.S. soybean and corn harvests were abundant. Golden beans blanketed the land, but also filled the eyes of redneck farmers with despair. They realized that the man they voted into office, Trump, had smashed the very pot they ate from. Their loans for seeds, fertilizers, and farm machinery are about to go unpaid, and no one knows how to clean up the mess. Some say China is maliciously shorting the U.S. What an unfair accusation! Back in May, China actually lowered tariffs on U.S. soybeans. Through friendly negotiations, the door was wide open. It's just that your beans didn't come in on their own. Since May, we've stopped buying U.S. soybeans and instead turned to Brazil, Argentina, Russia, Ethiopia, and Tanzania. It's a free market. You can force someone to buy from you. When it comes to soybeans, many Chinese people still mad about it. That farce of planting Chinese beans and stealing American rights left a scar deep in Chinese national memory. China is the true homeland of soybeans, with thousands of years of cultivation history. But in 1974, an American named Bernard discovered a wild soybean plant in the suburbs of Shanghai. Its pods were full, and it showed remarkable resistance to pests and disease. Bernard treated it as a treasure. This wild Chinese bean had powerful genetics, the perfect raw material for high-yield breeding. Soon, this chosen bean crossed the ocean into Monsanto's notorious labs. Those scientists used the Shanghai's beans for hybrid breeding and then filed patents in 101 countries, including China, for high-yield soybeans. Worse still, they didn't patent a specific variety. They patented the gene marker itself, declaring it belongs to us. With that compass, Monsanto racked up 64 patents, cementing America's dominance in the global soybean industry. The US didn't just steal our soybeans. 22 years ago, it used them to weaponize the soybean trading with China, causing 97% of Chinese soybean companies to go bankrupt. Fewer than 100 survived, and foreign capital swooped in to buy them out cheaply, taking control of 64 soybean crushing enterprises. Within 1 year, Chinese farmers and businesses were completely crushed. In 2001, when China had just joined the WTO, Chinese government was naive, promising to import US soybeans. Back then, American soybeans were dirt cheap, backed by GMO tech and massive government subsidies. China's domestic processors thought, wow, what a deal. They rushed to buy. 2 years later, Chinese farmers gave up planting soybeans. By 2003, China's soybean self-sufficiency rate had plunged from 47% to below 20%. Then, when the timing was right, the Americans struck. They began releasing frequent drought warnings, sparking global panic about soybean shortages. Prices soared from 2,300 yuan per ton to 5,500 yuan. Chinese companies, desperate to stay afloat, signed expensive import contracts. But before the contract's ink even dried, the shortage mysteriously disappeared. Prices plunged to 2,200 yuan. The high-altitude dive forced Chinese buyers into huge losses, leaving them no choice but to default. Then, under the banner of WTO rules, U.S. grain traders demanded compensation for 40 yuan billion and even threatened to halt soybean exports to China. The result? Waves of bankruptcies, foreign acquisitions, and a devastating blow to China's soybean industry. Truth is, our ancestors used this trick centuries ago. Only back then, we were too innocent to imagine the U.S. would stoop so low. After that costly lesson, China finally woke up. Soon, the China grain reserves began stockpiling soybeans at low prices. Bean hoarding became a long-term strategy to counter global food trade risks. When the U.S. tried the same scheme again in 2006 and 2008, we smashed it with our reserves, and their tricks stopped working. But defense